The stars were quiet. Everything in this part of the galaxy had been calm for years. The Galactic Empire's patrol ship, Verdanus, floated near the borderline of Sector 9, watching the space lanes. Most days there was nothing but silence. With only cargo ships and long-distance travelers passing by, Captain Doran sat in his command chair, sipping a hot drink and yawning. "Another boring shift," he muttered. "Not even a pirate today." His crew laughed quietly. They were relaxed, chatting in low voices and checking scanners out of habit more than worry. Nothing ever happened this far from the Empire's core systems. That's why Dorn liked it. No battles, no politics, just routine. Then the scanner officer froze. Her eyes widened. "Captain, you need to see this," she said. Dorn raised an eyebrow and stood up. "What is it?" "A ship. Just entered the outer zone," she said. "But ... It's not in any registry. Not ours. Not Allied. Not even Black Market." Dorn's face turned serious. "Not in any registry?" "No, sir," she said. "And ... It's fast. Really fast. Faster than anything we've seen." "Show me," Dorn said. A glowing map popped up on the screen. A single red dot was moving streaking across the border at a speed far beyond normal. It wasn't jumping through hyperspace either. It was flying in real time, at a speed no Empire ship could match. "That has to be a glitch," one officer said. "Check it again," Dorn ordered. They ran a second scan. The result was the same. The ship was real. It was big around the size of a dreadnought, and it was heading straight into Empire space, ignoring all standard lanes and warning beacons. "It's not responding to hails," the comms officer said. "We're getting nothing back." "Raise alert level," Dorn said. "Send a message to Central Command. We have an unknown ship entering controlled space without permission." The crew moved fast now. The quiet mood was gone, replaced by sharp eyes and tight voices. A strange ship this fast, flying without ID, was not something they were trained for. "Trajectory is changing," the scanner officer said. "It's moving toward Defense Station Eckler." Captain Dorn's face darkened. Eckler was a lightly armed refueling base. If this ship was hostile, it could crush it in seconds. "How long until contact?" Dorn asked. 20 minutes, she replied. They tried again to contact the ship. They used different languages, codes, even emergency signals. Still nothing? "Is there any chance this is a lost ship?" Dorn asked. "Not likely," said his science officer. "No ship this large and fast could be lost without anyone knowing. And that whole design?" Dorn looked at the screen. The ship didn't shine or sparkle like Empire ships. It was dark and heavy, like it was made for war. But the design was old, far too old to belong to any modern fleet. The Empire's Central Command replied. Their orders were clear. Observe. Don't engage. Try to make contact. If the ship showed any sign of attack, they were to retreat and alert the nearest battle group. "We're supposed to just watch it?" Dorn asked. "Yes, sir," his comms officer said. "They want to know more before making a move." Dorn didn't like it. Something about this ship felt wrong. It moved like a ghost, cutting through space with no sound, no signal, no fear. "Send a scout drone," he ordered. "Want a closer look." A small probe launched from the Verdanus and flew toward the unknown ship. It got within a few kilometers. Sending back images, the ship was covered in armor plates, thick and uneven, like they had been added over time. Strange markings ran along the hull. Not Empire script, not alien, but something older. "What is that?" one officer asked. "Looks like human text," the science officer said slowly. Everyone in the room went silent. "That's impossible," Dorn said. "Humans never built anything like this. They're peaceful now. Traders, diplomats, ... "Maybe this is from before," the officer said. "Before the peace. Before the Empire." The room stayed quiet as the drone got closer. Then the feed. "Cut off. We lost the drone," the technician said. "Just ... gone." "Was it shot?" Dorn asked. "No explosion. No signal loss. It just disappeared." Cold feeling crept into Dorn's chest. He stared at the red dot. The ship was still coming, still silent, still fast. Whatever that thing is, Dorn said quietly, it's not friendly. Incoming message from Defense Station Eckler, the comms officer shouted. They're under attack, no correction. Their systems just went offline. No damage, but they can't do anything. No power, no comms, no shields. That ship disabled them without firing, Dorn asked. Yes, sir? Now there was real fear on the bridge. The crew looked to their captain. Set course to follow at safe distance, Dorn ordered. I want eyes on that thing. It heads to the capital. The Empire needs to know. What do we call it, Captain? The scanner officer asked. Dornay stared at the screen for a moment, then said, Call it, ... the ghost ship. And the Verdanus began to follow the unknown craft, its crew silent, scanners fixed on the dark shape slipping deeper into Empire space, unstoppable and silent. The ghost ship didn't slow down. After disabling Defense Station Eckler without firing a single shot, it kept moving deeper into Empire territory. Captain Dorn and his crew aboard the Verdanus followed at a careful distance, not wanting to get too close. The scanners kept tracking it, but the more they looked, the less they understood. It's like the ship doesn't exist fully in our space, the science officer said, staring at his data. It bends signals. Sometimes we see it, sometimes it flickers, like it's in two places. How can something that big just flicker? The young pilot asked. I don't know, the science officer replied, shaking his head. It's real. The damage to Eckler proves that. Captain Dorn stood silently, watching the path ahead. He had seen many things in his years of service. Smugglers, pirates, even rebel fleets. But nothing like this. The ghost ship didn't act. Like a weapon, it didn't fire, didn't chase. It just flew forward with one goal in. No one knew what that goal was. Has Central Command said anything new? Dorn asked. Just orders to keep tracking it, his comms officer said. They're trying to figure out what it is. They sent a team to the records archive, looking for old files. Old files? Dorn repeated. Yes, sir. From the early days of human space travel, maybe something was lost or buried. The bridge fell quiet again. Most of the crew had never even seen a human ship before. Humans had joined the Galactic Empire long ago, not as conquerors, but as peaceful allies. They shared trade, language, and art. No one ever thought of them as dangerous, but now, this ship told a different story. We're getting a ping, the scanner officer said suddenly. From a nearby listening post, they picked up an old signal from the ghost ship. It's weak, but ... recognizable. What is it? Dorn asked. The officer played the audio. It was full of static, but beneath the noise there was something strange. A human voice, slow broken. Like it had been recorded a long time ago. Double quotes search. ... protect ... earth ... justice ... The words repeated once, then faded out. That's old Terran English, the science officer said. A version humans don't use anymore. It's been dead for centuries. What's it saying? The pilot asked. It sounds like a mission. Log, the officer replied. Maybe the ship had an objective and it's still trying to finish it. After all this time? Dorn asked. Maybe it never stopped, the science officer said. What if it just got lost? Now it's come back. Captain Dorn didn't like it. If the ship was acting on ancient orders, there was no telling. What it might do? It's even worse. No one could control it. Where is it headed now? Dorn asked. The scanner officer looked up. Straight toward Outpost Naren. Dorn's jaw tightened. That's a civilian station. It houses over 4,000 people, the comms officer added, including families. Send a warning. Dorn said. Tell them to evacuate immediately. They sent the message, but Naren Station didn't have enough ships to evacuate fast. Even with emergency help, many would be left behind, and the ghost ship was getting closer. Back on the capital world, the news of the ghost ship was spreading. Empire leaders gathered in the war chamber watching the footage from the Verdanus. Why haven't we destroyed it yet? One general shouted. Because every attack fails, another replied. And it hasn't fired on anyone, yet the first one snapped. It disabled Eckler. It could do worse. There's something else, the records keeper said, stepping forward. We found a file. It's old. Really old. From the early days of human deep space programs. The leaders went silent. Go on, the Empress said. There was a prototype ship built on Earth. Centuries ago, the Keeper said. Experimental. It used a new AI system and had secret tech that never became public. It was sent on a search and protect mission across unknown space. And then it vanished, the Keeper said. No trace. Earth listed it as lost. Even humans don't know where it went. You're saying this ghost ship is that lost human prototype? The Empress asked. Yes, Your Majesty, the Keeper said. And from the signal we picked up, it thinks it still has a mission. What kind of mission? The Empress asked. The room was quiet. To protect Earth, the Keeper said softly. And bring justice. The words hung in the air like a warning. Meanwhile, Outpost Naren was preparing for impact. Families gathered in shelters. Defense drones floated outside the station, useless against something so powerful. The ghost ship came closer, ignoring all signals. Then, just as it reached the station's edge, it stopped. The engines went silent. The entire ship hovered still, casting a long shadow over the outpost. What's it doing? The people asked. Then a beam of light scanned the station. No weapons. No damage, just a scan. And then turned away. The ghost ship changed direction and continued deeper into Empire. Space. Everyone on Naren Station let out a breath. They were safe for now. Aboard the Verdanus, Captain Dorn watched it all. It could have destroyed them, he said. But it didn't. Maybe it's not here to kill, the science officer said. Then why is it coming? Dorn asked. The question had no answer. But one thing was clear. The ghost ship wasn't lost anymore. It had a purpose. It wasn't done. The ghost ship had changed direction again, after scanning Outpost Naren and leaving it untouched. It now flew straight toward the inner Empire sectors. The Verdanus kept following, staying just far enough to avoid being noticed or destroyed. Captain Dorn stood at the front of the bridge, his arms crossed, eyes locked on the display. It knew Naren wasn't a threat, he said quietly. His science officer nodded. It didn't come to fight. It came to check something. Check what? Dorn asked. Maybe people? Maybe truth. Dorn didn't like guessing. He was a man who believed in facts and logic. But this ship, this ghost, was different. Nothing about it made sense. It moved like a living thing. Didn't follow any rule the Empire knew. We're getting more data from command, the comms officer said. Earth has confirmed the ship's identity. They call it the Justice. Seeker. It was the first deep space mission ever sent by humans. It was supposed to find lost colonies and protect them. From what? Dorn asked. Corrupt empires? Raiders? Warlords? Ironic, the pilot muttered. Now it's flying straight into the heart of an empire. Dorn's face darkened, and it thinks we're the enemy. Just then, the scanner officer raised her voice. Captain, the ship is slowing down. It's approaching an old mining colony, long abandoned. Why would it stop there? Dorn asked. I'm not sure, she replied. There's something strange. The planet it's heading toward was once a human colony before the Empire took it over. The bridge went quiet. Those records were wiped, the science officer said. Even I didn't know that. Who wiped them? Dorn asked. No one answered. The ghost ship landed. On the planet's surface, dust and broken metal flew into the air. It rested quietly, like a giant beast taking a breath. Dorn decided this was the moment. I want answers, he said. Prepare a shuttle. I'm going down. Captain, that's risky. His second officer said. I know, Dorn said, but we've followed this thing long enough. We need to see what it's after. The shuttle dropped through the gray sky and landed near the massive ship. Dorn stepped out, followed by a small team. Their boots crunched on old rubble and metal pieces. The ghost ship loomed above, its surface dark and worn, its design old but solid. A door opened without sound. It's inviting us, one crew member whispered. They walked in slowly. The inside of the ship was dim but still working. Old lights flickered, Systems hummed softly. There were no crew, just machines, screens, and silence. Then they reached a chamber. In the center was a cryopod covered in dust and ice. Inside lay a human. "Is he alive?" one officer asked. The science tech scanned him. "Yes, weak signs, but alive." "How old is this pod?" Dorn asked. "It's been active for over 300 years. They all stared. This man had launched. Before the Empire had even formed, before the galaxy had been divided, and now he was here still asleep, still waiting. A screen beside the pod blinked on. A message played. "This is Commander Cole. Mission, Justice Seeker. Target, confirm truth behind fallen colonies. Stop enemy expansion. Protect civilians. If you find this recording, I may not wake up, but the ship remembers. It will finish what we started." Commander Cole Dorn repeated. A name lost in history. Suddenly the lights changed. The ship began to hum louder. "What's happening?" Crew member shouted. The ship was uploading data, thousands of files, pictures, messages into local devices. The screens filled with images of burned colonies, destroyed human settlements, and signs marked with Empire logos. It was all proof. Proof that the early Empire had destroyed human colonies and covered it up. "No one was supposed to see this," Dorn said quietly. "The ghost ship saw everything," the science officer replied. "And it never forgot." Now it made sense. The ship wasn't random. It had returned with a mission to show the truth, to remind the galaxy of what had been hidden. The team returned to the shuttle. Dorn didn't speak. He just stared at the sky, thinking of what would happen next. Back on the Verdanus, the files had already reached Central Command. And with it came panic. "This is dangerous," the High Lord said in the Capitol's chamber. "If this information spreads, the people will turn on us. We must destroy that ship now," another said. "We've already tried," a general replied. "Our weapons don't work. And now it's waking the past." The Empress stood in silence, holding one of the tablets. "We made this mistake," she said. "Now the truth comes back. Not with fire, but with memory." Meanwhile, the ghost ship rose from the ground again. It turned slowly, engines lighting up with quiet power. It didn't speak, but its actions said everything. It was heading toward the Empire's capital, not to attack, but to reveal. Captain Dorn watched it lift off, his heart heavy. "It's not a weapon," he said. "Then what is it?" his officer asked. Dorny looked at the sky. "It's a witness." The ghost ship moved slowly through space, heading toward the Empire's capital world. It didn't rush, but it also didn't stop. Its purpose was clear now. It had shown the truth to Captain Dorn and his team. And now it would show that same truth to the whole galaxy. Aboard the Verdanus, Dorn sat in his chair, eyes fixed on the display. No one on his crew spoke. Everyone had seen the recordings. Burned colonies. Human settlements erased from maps. Old Empire warships attacking places that were never meant to be touched. The silence on the bridge was heavy. "They'll try to stop it again," the pilot finally said. Dorno nodded. "Yes, but they'll fail. Should we warn the capital?" Dorn shook his head. "They already know. They're just hoping it turns away." It wouldn't. The Empire's capital planet, Elkin Prime, was the heart of power. Floating defense rings circled it like sharp teeth. Massive fleets waited nearby. But deep inside their command chambers, fear had already taken root. "This ship cannot be allowed to enter our orbit," a high official said. "The people will panic." "What if it doesn't attack?" asked another. "Then the truth it carries will," came the reply. They tried sending messages to Earth again. They begged for help, for control codes, for anything that could stop. The ghost ship Earth answered with calm silence. A short message arrived. "We have no control. The ship acts on its last orders. If it's coming, it's because you made a mistake long ago." The leaders of Elkin Prime grew angry and afraid. "Ready the defense grid," the Empress said. "If the ship enters orbit, we will fire." Far. Across the stars, the ghost ship came closer. Its engines burned a soft blue, slow and steady. No weapons glowed. No threats were made. But its presence made every commander on the capital planet feel small. Aboard the Verdanus, Captain Dorn looked at his officers. "How far behind are we?" he asked. "Less than 3 minutes," the pilot said. "Follow it all the way," Dorn ordered. "If the capital does something foolish, we need to be there." The ghost ship passed the outer moons of Elkin Prime. Defense ships gathered near, forming a wall, their weapons pointed forward. Their captains waited for the order. "They're hailing the ghost ship," the comms officer said. No response. "Same as always," Dorn said. "It doesn't speak with words." Suddenly, the ghost ship slowed. It stopped just beyond the defense wall. Silence filled the air. "What's it doing?" the pilot asked. On the capitals. Command screens. A message appeared, not spoken. Just written, old human text glowing in red. "The records are ready. The truth must be seen. Do not stop this memory." "Shut it down," a general shouted. "We can't," yelled the tech officer. "It's transmitting to every public screen on the planet." Millions of citizens watched as the story unfolded. Ancient recordings, ship logs, crew reports all played in order. Colony after colony destroyed. Children crying. Hidden reports, commanders lying. All done under the name of early empire expansion. People screamed. Some wept. Others sat frozen. On the streets, large screens showed the symbol of Earth glowing behind the recordings. Below that, the name of the ship, Justice Seeker. On the Verdanus, the crew watched too. No one looked away. "This is going to change everything," the science officer said quietly. Dorn nodded. "Wasn't it should?" Down on Elkin Prime, protests began. People asked questions. Reporters pushed through guards. Some soldiers lowered their weapons, unsure of who to follow anymore in the palace. The Empress stood alone at a tall window, watching the ghost ship hover in the dark sky. "We buried the past," she whispered. But it found its way back. Her advisor stepped close. "What now?" She turned slowly. "We face it." On the ghost ship, the man in the cryopod slowly opened his eyes. Weak, but alive. His body didn't move much, but his voice soft, and Ruff reached the ship's controls. "Mission complete?" A gentle sound replied from the ship's system, a soft hum. It didn't speak words, but it gave a feeling, yes. Back on the Verdanus, an alert blinked on the screen. "Captain, the ghost ship is powering down," the scanner officer said. "Is it dying?" the pilot asked. "No," said the science officer. "It's resting. Its purpose is done." Captain Dorn stood slowly. He looked at the giant ship outside, still and silent. "It didn't come to fight," he said again. "It came to remind, and it had all across the Empire. People now knew the truth. The ghost ship had not used lasers, missiles, or force. It had used something far more powerful: memory. The ghost ship no longer moved. It floated above Elkin Prime, silent and still, like a giant watchful eye. The people of the Empire had seen the truth. The videos played over and over again. Old crimes, long forgotten, were now open for all to see. Some citizens were angry. Others were ashamed. Few refused to believe, calling it fake. But most felt something new await in their hearts. The Empire they trusted had hidden something dark. And now the ghost ship had shown it to the galaxy on the Verdanus. Captain Dorn watched the capital from his bridge. "No war, no destruction. Just truth," he said softly. His crew remained quiet. No one cheered. No one smiled. They all understood. Something big had changed. "Sir," the scanner officer said. "We're getting movement from the ghost ship. It's opening." A hatch near the center of the ship slowly opened. A small shuttle came out, shaped like a silver teardrop. It moved gently, heading toward the capital's surface. Dorn's eyes narrowed. "Can you track it?" he asked. "Yes, Captain. It's landing near the Central Council Dome." "Then we go too." Within minutes, Verdanus sent its own shuttle after it. Dorn led a small team to the surface. They landed in a city filled with silence. The streets were empty. People were watching from windows. I'm sure if they should come out or hide. As Dorn's boots touched the ground, the wind carried the sound of sirens in the distance. But no military marched. No weapons were pointed. The Empire was frozen, uncertain. They walked toward the council dome. The ghost ship's silver shuttle had already landed there. A single ramp was lowered, and standing at the bottom was a man. He was human, older, his steps weak. His cryosleep had left his body slow, but his eyes were sharp. He looked around like someone who had seen a dream become real. "That's Commander Cole," the science officer whispered.
From the recordings, Cole stepped forward.
Dorn met him halfway. "You're alive," Dorn said quietly. Cole nodded.
"Barely. The ship woke me." "Why now?" Dorn asked. "Because it was time," Cole answered. "The mission was justice. The truth needed light. And now, the galaxy sees." As they walked together into the council dome, news cameras followed. The Empire's top leaders were already inside, seated in silence. The Empress stood when Cole entered. "You are the one from the past," she said. "I am," he replied. "You bring old wounds to the surface." "Not to harm," Cole said, "but to heal." She stepped forward slowly. "The people are asking questions. Some demand justice. Others demand your ship be destroyed." Cole looked her in the eyes. "You can destroy it, but the truth cannot be buried again. It's already out there, across worlds, on devices, in minds." The Empress was quiet for a long time. "Then what should we do?" she finally asked. "Listen to your people," he said, "and build something better." Outside the dome, crowds began to form. People came out of their homes, their shelters, their stations, held signs. Others simply stood, looking up at the ghost ship in the sky. The news spread fast. The man from the ancient ship was speaking to the Empire. He wasn't asking for war. He wasn't demanding revenge. He wanted peace. He wanted change, Captain Dorn. Watched from the side, he saw how Cole spoke not like a soldier, but like a man carrying history on his shoulders. And for the first time in many years, Dorn felt hope. Real hope. Commander Dorn asked later, "What happens now?" Cole looked up at the ghost ship above. Double quotes. "Now, the ship rests. Its job is done, but the rest is up to you, to the Empire, to the people, and you," Dorn asked. "I'm just one man," Cole said, "from a time long gone. I'll stay here, answer questions, guide where I can. But the galaxy doesn't need a warship anymore. It needs honesty." As the day turned to night, lights across the capital lit up in calm colors. No shots were fired. No alarms screamed. The people were thinking, talking, and learning. The ghost ship slowly returned to orbit. It found a quiet place near a silent moon and powered down again, its lights dimming like a star going to sleep. Many wanted to study it, but none dared board it again. Not yet. Earth sent a final message to the Empire. The ship returned on its own. We did not send it, but we believe it did what was right. We hope the Empire will do the same now. And with that, Earth went quiet again. The galaxy had changed, not through battles or conquests, but through one ship, forgotten by time, that refused to forget the truth. Weeks passed since the ghost ship arrived over Elkin Prime. What started with fear and panic had slowly turned into silence. People across the Empire no longer ignored the truth. They couldn't. Every image and record the ghost ship had shared remained on their screens, in their minds, and in their hearts. On a quiet morning, Captain Dorn stood on the balcony of the new Imperial Council building. The old one had been closed after protests grew too large to ignore. The leaders had agreed that change was needed not just in structure, but in soul. Below, crowds had gathered again. This time there were no shouts of anger. There were voices of unity. Humans, aliens, old citizens, young students, standing together, not for war, but for healing. "The galaxy feels different now," said a voice beside Dornet. He wore a simple gray uniform, one that had no medals or rank, just a clean mark of Earth's early flag. His steps were still slow, but his words had strength. "You helped wake it up," Dorn said. Double quotes, "No," Cole replied. "The truth did. Inside the council chamber, the Empress and her officials sat with representatives from over 100 worlds. For the first time, humans were given open seats. Even Earth's delegates were present, curious, calm, and watchful. "We cannot change the past," the Empress began, her voice steady. "But we can choose what kind of future we want. The ship that came here did not bring death. It brought memory, and with memory comes choice." She paused, then looked at Cole. "Commander, will you speak?" Cole stood and walked to the center. He looked at the gathered leaders, and then at the galaxy feed, broadcasting his words to millions. "Was part of a mission meant to protect the lost," he began. "Long ago, humans sent the Justice Seeker to find our missing people, the ones forgotten or betrayed." He took a breath. "We never expected to find a lie this big. The ship searched for generations, and when it learned the truth, it waited for the right moment to return." The chamber was quiet. "Your people, our people, deserve better," Cole said. "This empire can still become something good, but only if it stops hiding from what it once did." He stepped back. Nothing more needed to be said. The room didn't explode with claps. Instead, a deep and thoughtful silence followed. It was one of respect. Later that evening, as lights sparkled across Elkin Prime, Dorn and Cole stood near the shore where a monument was being built. It wasn't tall or shiny. It was simpler stone pillar, with the names of the lost colonies carved into it. A child came forward with her mother, pointing up. "Is that the man from the ship?" she asked. Her mother nodded. "Yes, that's Commander Cole." "Did he save us?" The mother thought for a moment. "He reminded us." Cole smiled softly and walked toward the child. He knelt slowly and placed a small badge in her hand, a round symbol from his ship, faded by time. "Keep this," he said, "and promise me something." "What?" the child asked. "Ask questions," Cole replied. "Never stop asking." She nodded, holding the badge tightly up in orbit. The ghost ship floated beside the moon, its engines cold, its systems asleep. No one boarded it again. Some said it should be placed in a museum. Others said to leave it where it was. It's a reminder. Silent guardian, a piece of truth. Captain Dorn returned to his ship the next morning. Verdanus had been chosen for a new task, not war, but peacekeeping. Dorn accepted the mission with pride. "Where are we heading?" the pilot asked. "To the old border sectors," Dorn replied. "There are places still hurting. Places that need to know they haven't been forgotten." His crew nodded. They understood. Back on the surface, Cole stood near a garden where young students studied history. A teacher waved him over. "They're learning about the early days," she said. "We updated the textbooks." Cole nodded. "Make sure you also teach them what went wrong." "We will," the teacher said. "They'll remember both the rise, ... and the fall." The galaxy didn't change in one day, not in 1 week, but the first step had been taken. All of it had started with a ship that wasn't in any registry, a ship that moved fast, a ship that remembered, and a ship that refused to stay silent.